I'm Chuck Norris, president of the United Fine Arts Federation. This is Danny Lane.
The history of martial arts can be traced back more than 1,000 years, starting in China, then migrating to Okinawa, Japan, and then Korea. Taekwondo, the Korean national sport and primary method of self-defense in that country, means punch and kick art. The hyungs, here in America called forms, are the foundation and base of all martial arts disciplines, especially Taekwondo. A dance-like routine, almost mechanical in its application, the techniques are taught by masters all over the world and interpreted as an imaginary fight between the practitioner and a multitude of opponents in a complete circle. Besides teaching the practitioner balance, timing, breath control, footwork, memory recall, and expressing the artistic expression of their physical techniques, what do all the different techniques and movements really mean? They seem almost senseless to dedicate years of perfecting each hyung. During this video series, this is what we're going to find out, the secrets of Taekwondo hyung. Hello, I'm Danny Lane, National Director of World Martial Arts Centers, 6th-degree black belt in the Chuck Norris United Fighting Arts Federation, and Master in Taekwondo. And welcome to my video series on the hidden secrets of Taekwondo. During this video series, I'm going to pass on what I feel are the real self-defense interpretations and applications of all the basic fundamentals, the hyungs, and the complete fighting system of Taekwondo. I think you'll be amazed. I hope this will educate you and enlighten and also open up a whole new world of knowledge in your study of Taekwondo. This videotape will cover the advanced hyungs in the Taekwondo and Tang Soo system. Starting out with Basai. Miss Amy Ashworth will now demonstrate Basai individually. Basai means penetrating a fortress, so it's a very strong defensive form. A lot of defenses involved in this particular form. So ready, stance, if you will. Attention, bow. And let's do the opening. Set. Every individual move has a special meaning. Balance move, down. Okay, up, twist and cross. And first move with a ki. Ready? 1, 2. Turn. 1, 2. Block 1, 2, 3. Set. Slow and easy. Spear. Punch, twist, twist. Cross stance up, down the center line and chop. Step forward, chop, and chop. Back 1. Cross high. Side kick bottom fist with ki and chop. Move forward, chop. Step back 1. break the hold, strike, jump punch. Turn double defense, grab, squeeze, twist, shift, pull out, again, inside crescent, 1, leading hand, backhand, crescent, 1 and 2. Cat stance, double punch, set, crossover, crescent kick, double punch, set, crossover, spin, drop down, shift, step center line, to the right, and back center. Return ready stance, and down. Good. As you can see, it's a very complicated form, very in-depth, a lot of twisting, a lot of movements. This is generally one of the first level black belt forms. And now we'll break down all the interpretation, if you will. Once again, as you'll see in all the Pyongan forms, a lot of the moves are repetitious of the previous form. But just like in every martial arts training, the fundamentals are the foundation. Then the forms are the combinations of the fundamentals, just put in different sequences of order. Also, the creators of the form, no one knows exactly what they had on their mind, but with bits and pieces of information, and all through the experimentation and studies of all the different martial artists, you can see that there are some really nice movements hidden inside the forms. Now the opening, covering the fist with a hand in some circles means non-aggression. If you show your fist, it means aggression. But if you cover your fist, it means a passive posture. But in this particular form, also it can be, it means that there are pressure points inside the hand as well. So if somebody grabs you or shakes their fist at you or so forth, and you cover their hand like this, if you grab their hand and you strike and you apply pressure just behind the fourth knuckle, it can be a self-defense move. So you've got your hand covered in. Or if they grab your chest and you hold their hand against your chest and you attack right here, then that's a self-defense move itself. Right behind the fourth knuckle is a very painful pressure point that we go into. If we shift to the cross stance, shifting to the cross stance gives us added power and leverage into that. So anytime you're shifting into a stance, you're shifting your body weight for a particular reason. So just the meaning itself, coming up and down like this, has a self-defense meaning of coming down. You're coming here and then down to this particular position. This particular position can mean a number of things. First of all, shifting to a cross stance can be a back fist to the nose with this hand guiding. If the fingers are out enough, it can be a simultaneous spear hand. So you can see the techniques are getting more devastating and so forth. If the hands come in this angle, like this, then you would sandwich the head together with a strike on one side of the face, the jaw supporting the head with the other side. So when you're coming in with the move from here and you're lunging, so you can either strike here or you can strike here. The form pretty much comes into this position. So a lot of times, a lot of people don't really see what they're doing there. They say, well, we're doing a reinforced back knuckle, and that possibly could be true. But again, if your fingertips stick out a little bit, you can see that the spear hand is possible there. Or if the hands happen to come together, that the self-defense application could be this. Somebody grabs you, shifting, and you got the same movement here, attacking the bicep and tricep muscle coming in with the hand. So that particular movement, just shifting from a ready stance or twisting cross stance forward into the movement, coming this way or that way, has a lot of different applications. This to this means grabbing here and down, attacking into the pressure point behind the fourth knuckle. Activating the wrist points even makes it more devastating. So covering your hand is maybe a signal that when your hand is right here, that this is where you're going to attack when that person grabs you here. You're going to attack behind the fourth one and bring it down. Because right here is your center of energy. So it's a self-defense move by itself. See, that's when we get to play around with. The next movements after here are you doing your half spin. So if somebody grabs you from behind, like I said, basai means penetrating a fortress. And a fortress is strong and it is built for defense. So the defense is the turns. Just grab anyway from here. The turns are blocking. And this can also be a block or a strike. So maybe the first move you could do would be just to knock their hands off, and the second one would be your counter strike. Let's do it from this angle, if you will. Two hands, if you will. So that you're turning, blocking, and then using as a strike. This doesn't always have to be a block. It also could be a back fist there. It depends on what you want to do with it. But if you play with these moves enough, you can see the importance of the movements. In the form from this position, you'll be behind the next sequence of moves is a turn to the right with an inside defense, and then another outside defense. So you have a lot of defenses, knocking hands off and then striking. If somebody grabs in, then you're doing chest-wise, low defense. Over in here, we have the inside defense and another outside defense. So these can be used as strikes and strikes, or defenses, grab again, defenses. So look at them several different ways. Settling in right here. Once again, anytime the hands are on the hips, you can be in a kotogashi position or a wrist throw position, or you could just be preparing for the next sequence of moves. Now this next count of moves, which is a spear hand, and then a punch, and then a twisting outside defense, and a punch, and an outside defense, a lot of people interpret those as blocks. But to stay in a straddle stance and block all these techniques without strikes doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But if you look at them as rapid-fire strikes, then they can be devastating. I'll practice at this angle. The first strike would be here, then here, then here, then here, and then here. So if you view them all as strikes, then you're starting to put your combinations together, just like you would in actual fighting. So you go spear, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it starts making sense to you. Instead of looking at them as blocks, look at them as all as strikes. Rapid fire strikes, working the throat, the solar plex, the nose, etc. The next center line forms are the center chops, which we've covered. So we come down, we come in front, if you will. He throws right, go center chop, left, center chop, another right center chop, and he throws a left, and we back up one. And we back up one and stretch him out. Now the cross block here can be interpreted, primarily it's against stick fighting. We use it a lot in bow techniques. But we can just use the arm if you want, or go ahead and get a bow if you will. But what we're doing here is when we come back to the chop, we're coming up to a cross stance and blocking. You'll see that the arm is diagonal, so the bow staff, if it does hit, will slide down as opposed to just fracturing the arm. We'll do it at this angle here. But as soon as we come in and block, we're able to come up and block and grab, and then side kick and release the stick. It's a very simple movement. A lot of people just misinterpret it. When you block, and then this hand grabs, and then you side kick and pull the hands down, you go into your next move. So that's one interpretation, one self-defense move against the stick coming up. It's to block, grab with the left, pull, and kick to make them release it. Turning to the rear in the Basai form are two center chops, which we basically already explained. The next set of moves is a frontal attack, coming up, this way, out, and down. So if somebody grabs you, first rule of self-defense is step back. Come up, break the hold, double kidney shot to the back in here. The kidneys is one of the weakest, most devastating target areas of the body in here. The jump lunging punch is basically no more than just a balance move. But if you kick, and then you push the person back, then you jump and hit them. The interpretation there basically is just for the skill involved, or just for, I think, the artistic expression of doing the moves. But what I get out of this is, or if it's a front bear hug in here, you come inside, you're up, you strike, and then you jump and punch. So you can see that there's a self-defense move in there against either a grab or a front bear hug. The double defense, coming in here, we covered on the previous tape, we are grabbing the groin, twisting, pulling out. This is a creative movement, just basically a uppercut punch. Coming in to the inside defense, we basically covered before, two-hand grabs. We've covered it like this, one grab, we've covered it like this, or we've covered it like this with a crescent kick. I'll always be turning from here. Once again, when you're spinning in the form, coming in, knocking the defense off, or coming in, working on the arm, or just twisting and coming right up to the side of the head with your defense. Anytime you're doing this defense, it can mean a number of things. You're looking internally inside each movement of at least 3 interpretations. A lot of times things are simple, maybe intermediate, and more advanced. So, you got to look for all the possibilities of the form. The crescent kick comes next. We covered in the form, kick in the face, and stomping with a bottom fist. A very effective move. In the Pyongan Odan form on the previous tape, we had the backhand strike, the grab, and the elbow, or the crescent kick and the elbow after that. What's different in the Basai form, if you'll come at this angle, after you do the backhand and the hair grab and the kick to the face and the elbow here, you bring it down, there's a punch and then another punch. So the move goes 1, 2. So you have a punch and then punch is our interpretation of the form. If somebody grabs you from the side over here, we shift to a cat stance to a cup and saucer and then step out and do a double punch. This interpretation could be shifting here and then stepping up into here. Simultaneous movement. Punch either to the face and groin, or if you want, you can go a little lower into the sternum or rib cage area. So, this particular movement, if I just shift to a cat stance, come into my movement, and then move to my forward stance, my offensive move, then you have that particular movement. It's followed up at that particular point with a crescent kick, and then another double punch. So all the movements are involved, hands off of your kodagashes or your wrist throws, wrist lock positions, and your double punches. Groin face, or you can even go here, depending on what target areas that you want to do. In spinning in the form, dropping down into your low defense, a lot of times if you're on the ground in a particular combat situation, particularly a lot of people may be attacking you. This also shows flexibility, it shows strength, but if I'm in this position, you also have to have balance. So if the person's kicking at me from this position, I can use my forearm to defend. And the other one, here, and I shift, and I'm blocking at this particular position. Standing up against the defense, over here. So in the form, you're defending in all different directions. We're pretty much in the Basai form. Those are the new movements that haven't been covered before in the previous 5 Pyongan forms, which are the strong defensive movements. The repetition of the defenses, moving in these particular positions. The rapid-fire hand combinations, down the center, your chops, your cross block, your grab of the stick, your disarming techniques. Against a front bear hug where you come up, block, move the hands out, double kidney strike, lunging punch. Your groin grabs, coming back. Your defenses to the side of the head, to the arm, so forth. Your kicks, your elbow smashes, your bottom fist, your backhands, your kicks, your elbows, your punches, your wrist flexes, and your double punches. Then you're shifting down, your block. And then you got your chops, different directions. It's a very devastating form. Once again, reviewing the opening move, basically here, covering here. Pressure point attack behind the 4th knuckle here. I'm using this hand to help hold it in against my face. And the first move, moving across into here. So transferring the body into the cross stance gives you that added momentum for your strike. So it really is in the eyes of the beholder. Depends on really what you want to do. I've studied with many different martial artists and instructors. Everybody has a little different interpretation, and that is fine. As long as it works, it must be useful. And there's ways of doing things, and there's other ways. And our theory is just to be open-minded, take a technique, and see basically what we can do with it. Now we'll have Basai performed at the full speed. Now Amy will demonstrate Basai at full form speed. Attention, bow. Ready, stance. Basai chumbi. Hai! Turn. Basai. There you have the Basai form at full form speed. The next advanced form will be Kun Sang Gun, means form of the people. It's actually a compilation of the 5 Pyongans and Basai, so you'll see a lot of the movements of the other forms. This particular form is a 5th degree Tang Soo form, and it's one of our requirements in the United Fighting Arts Federation. Once again, you'll see a lot of the movements of all the other 5 previous Pyongan forms, the basic forms, everything compilated together, along with a few special moves. Attention, bow. Ready, stance. The opening, 1. Arch wrist, 2. Bring it up to the top, 3. Break, 4. Exhale down, 5. Center chop. Look right, center chop. Balance, set. And spear hand, punch, outside, punch, and outside. Cross stance, down the center line chop. Center line chop, block, spear hand. Half turn, chop, high block. Kick, turn, grab. Squeeze, twist, shift. Chamber grab, squeeze, twist. Slide back and scrape off low defense. Chop, high block. Kick, turn, grab. Squeeze, twist, shift. Chamber grab, slide back, scrape off low defense. Pivot set, side kick, bottom fist. Elbow strike. To the right, adjust. Side kick, bottom fist. Elbow strike. Low block forward for chop. Chop and high block. Middle kick. Lunging, back fist. Step back outside defense. Punch with a double punch. Turn, double spread block. Into a crane stance. All the way up to the top. Break. Exhale down. And hold. Drop down, look center. Look right. Scan all the way across in front. Push up. Low and slow. Step forward and chop. Spinning low block punch. Half turn right low block and punch. Pivot set. Cross over, side kick, bottom fist. Chop. Block. Spear hand. Spin bottom fist. Sliding back hand. Elbow set. 1, 2. Double defense. Cross low. Cross high. Spin underneath. Wrist flex. Kick. And strike. Pivot set. And attention, bow. And return. Now I'll be breaking down each one of the self-defense movements and the practical application of each. The first move of the form was this particular position where the thumbs and index fingers touch, then the wrist arch up and bring it up. Break, exhale, and down. It could have some type of spiritual meaning. Some people interpret that as gathering your energy, bringing it up, becoming one with the universe, and coming down. So your mind, your physical, your mental, your psychological, spiritual, and inner self is all together when your hands come together. From a self-defense standpoint, also the moves have some interpretation. If somebody grabs you, like in the belt area or low, one of the first things you do is grab, and as you bring the hands up this way, you have the wrist flex. Now, what's not in the form is the follow-through with the takedown of the throw, which will come a little bit later. But just this and this can be a self-defense move here. So you hit and push up. This particular move coming down, when somebody tries to grab you and you bring your hands down together, you have your hands coming in together like this. Then you have them also prepared for the throws. So a couple of defenses against grabs or attempted grabs are involved in this particular movement that you actually can see. First one, a single grab, will be this. Then as you bring the hands up, when you get at about this point and push in towards the armpit, you have the self-defense move. The second one, here, coming down with your left hand meeting your right. In this position, you can go either direction with your step, and you'll be going right into your throw. Your first move in the form after your set position are your chops, which we've already explained here, and over in here against the chop here. Come over here if you will. Sure. So I'll briefly describe, just in case you haven't went back to the other tapes. The next set is a balance move in this position. Basically, we've covered it before, but what this would be a ridge hand strike. I'll do it from this angle. Coming in within the spear hand, the punch, the twisting back knuckle, the punch, and the back knuckle. Very similar to the Basai form. As I said earlier, this form is a compilation of almost all the forms up to this point. Moving down the center line, we have the center chops, and the block and the spear hand. Once again, the block spear hand against any linear strike, it's just basically a block and a counter strike. If we're fighting in a tournament, a lot of times you'll block and you'll counter punch. So that palm block down and the reinforced spear hand can either go into the jugular notch or to the solar plexus. The next set of moves are the high blocks. Once you get to this particular position, simultaneous movement. If somebody grabs you from behind, as you step here, you can block up and you can counter strike at the same time. The kick would be to the face and so forth. The higher kicks basically are just for the challenge of doing so. Then the pivoting turning we covered before. Two interpretations. Groin grab, if they grab you, wrist defense, grab, squeeze, twist. Second interpretation, from the rear, the hands come this way. This will be a chop to the windpipe. This will be a strike to the base of the spine. If you want to go between the legs, it would be like this, and then pull. So this particular movement has a lot of meaning in that particular situation. The pivot sets, we covered a little bit earlier, off of the wrist locks, the side kick bottom fist, and the elbow smash. The higher kicks are for the challenge and for the skill involved in showing the higher kicks, because it's physically impossible to kick to the person to the face from here and at the same time strike them. So if you apply your kick into the leg area or midsection area, then it works perfectly for you. You can see that move. It will be over here. Same position here. You load, you kick, strike, you move in, and elbow smash. The other defenses are basically where you're moving in for the outside defense and you're stepping back with just a double punch to the body. From here, 1, 2, and then double rapid fire punches. An interesting move from behind, if somebody grabs you from behind, you'll see this particular move. We'll cross stance, come in, and the hands will cross, and it'll be a double spread block. So in the form, it's positioned like this particular movement. And a lot of people don't understand what it's for or realize why they're doing it. Some people just think it's basically just for the skill or for the beauty of the art. But I can see that basically when you pivot and your hands come inside close and spread the arms out, then you're ready. If you want to come on down to this position and then come up, you have your wrist position, your finger locks. So in the form, you're turning and you're coming up to here. And then you're breaking and coming down. The drop down look center is interpreted basically as just blending with the environment around you. Instead of standing up, making your body closer to the ground, it's more of a creative or an artistic expression. That would show flexibility, being a little bit lower in your stance and your chops. The spinning low block reverse punches, basically if somebody's grabbing from the side or back, you're just coming around with a quick counter, strike and strike. Back here. It can be either from a grab or so forth. 1, 2. The next set of movements here, we covered before. It would be from here. Same position. Side kick bottom fist, and then chop. Moving down the center line, we have the spear hand. So once again, we're blocking and spear handing. Somebody grabs a wrist, I tuck to the side, bottom fist. If somebody is a little farther away, I can slide up and backhand, grab an elbow. This particular situation will slow down just a little bit. Once we get to this position from here, here, we're going to visualize that we're being attacked by one opponent to your left, one in front, one to the right, and one behind, even 4 opponents. The one to your left, you have grabbed and hit with an elbow strike. The one in the center possibly has grabbed you, so your hands come here, they come over to here, and they go over to here. Then the next person is over in this position, so you're still in your horse stance, and you strike to the groin here, cross body punch here. The person behind you, maybe they grab you, and what you do is just do a quick pivot spin away from them to throw them off balance or release the hold. So this particular situation has a lot of self-defense interpretation for me. So you got the elbow smash here, the wrist throw here, the strike, the punch. Somebody's grabbed you here. If they grab on tight, they will be thrown this direction here. Then possibly, if you're ever attacked by a multitude of people, people are grabbing, punching, kicking at you all over. Another person maybe grabs you, and you do the double defense. He kicks at your groin, strikes at your head, and you got a wrist throw in this position. So I'll demonstrate this set of moves again. From here, here, look, double defense, here, spin, and saddle. So this whole set of moves is applied individually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The next move is basically a kick. Person's back a little bit, a kick, and the last move we'll do at this angle. 2 different meanings, actually 3 different meanings. It's a move like this, we are dropping down. If you come up with the wrist like this and straight across, it can be an arm bar. If the person is in this position, you come across like this, you can bring them right across your leg, like so. So you're striking this way, right? Just crunching their back across your leg, which is a different move that's in there. So as your hand comes this way, it's striking right across the leg right there. So the Kum Song Gun, once again, has a compilation of many of the moves, but if you just master this one form and all the hidden moves inside it, you'd have a complete system of self-defense. Now we'll have it demonstrated at full form speed again, please. Mr. Wood will demonstrate. Attention bow. Kum Song Gun. Hello. Attention bow. Here you have Kum Song Gun, form of the people. The third form I'm going to cover on this tape will be the Nyaji Chodan. the first of the 3 Nyajis. It starts from the ready stance, balance move, all the way down, moving over softly into a cross stance, folding to a backhand, elbow, set, cross body punch, here, stepping across center, 1, 2, 3, 4, look, kick, 1, look, kick, 2, set, backhand, elbow, set, look, low block, cross body punch, set, center, 1, 2, 3, 4, look, kick, 1, kick, 2, set, look, and you come back center, and set. Now I'll be breaking down the Nyaji forms. The first move was here and down, and that can be interpreted by, if somebody grabs you, trapping their hands toward your chest. You're stepping across, and down is a self-defense movement by itself, because you're locking the wrist back against the forearm, and you're projecting your energy down. So once you grab here and shoot down into this particular position here, which is where your center of energy is, it's broken his balance and put him in a vulnerable position. Because once you step over here, your next movement is a strike to the side of the neck. So I'll do it from the front position. From your point of view, you'll first of all see the grab. I come up and grab it. As I slide it down, I'm starting to step across. It puts his in position for the strike here, right to the side of the neck. I've activated here. Next series of moves are this, or either the side of the jaw point right here, or to the side of the neck. So it can be either one or a series of self-defense moves. From here, stepping across, 1, 2, 3. So then the next series of moves will be also from the front. Somebody grabs you from the front, and you turn them to the side, like so. You come across with a strike and a strike. So you'll notice that the hips don't turn. You're still in the horse stance. So in working the form from here, you'll see that the hands come set here, come across here, and out to here, with actually no hip action. So once we've taken care of the first self-defense situation, the second self-defense situation is explained into here, and then strike, strike, very quickly. The hands will be locked into the side, and then you come across with a strike and a strike. And it doesn't take that much pressure. You don't have to put full body power into a strike, into one of the vital points of the body, the vagus nerve, the carotid, or the mastoid area, or any of the pressure points along the jaw. All you have to do is hit with a proper technique. So the second self-defense move inside there would be locking down. Now this is why I'm striking down this way, and I'm striking straight across this way without moving the stance. So far we have 2 self-defense movements inside the form. The third series of movements, if somebody grabs you, if you move with them and break their balance, in the form this way, after you do this series of moves, going into a third self-defense move, there's a cross step, and then you set up. A lot of times moving in the different types of martial arts like judo, jiu-jitsu, aikido, there's a lot of footwork involved where we're manipulating that person off balance, moving them, trying to break their balance, get their thoughts off of their strength, and so forth. So stepping in this form to me teaches me basically I'm just moving that person off balance to set him up for the next series of techniques. The next series of techniques involves using 2 techniques at the same time. So the first technique is the outside defense. Then at the same time we're going down to a low punch, and then coming in for a strike, and then a strike. So the 4 rapid fire movements are 1, 2, 3, 4. But what's different about this is when one hand is being used, the other hand is already preparing for the next strike. Instead of blocking, 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 blocking. You can't always be blocking. Especially in advanced forms, you're attacking, attacking, attacking. Instead of throwing one technique and the other hand back, when you throw one technique, the other hand's always being ready to do the other technique. So you're always thinking ahead to that sequence of moves. So the third series of techniques are a rapid-fire series of hand combinations. Here, 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 and here. Moving to the next series of movements will be from the Kodagosh position in here, like this, pulling down, or even from the left arm, when you move into a horse stance and you come into the strike. So if he grabs here and I step back to a horse stance and I strike, it's a very effective movement. So you see this strike in the form coming across. The same movements going back the other directions are exactly the same, except that you're developing the moves from the other side of the body or being attacked at different angles. So starting out from the very top of the form, coming up and down, self-defense move here, strike the side of the neck, grab the head, elbow smash. Somebody grabs you, wrist flex, bottom fist, punch. Moving across, rapid fire punch, punch, strike, strike. Now we're getting to the series of moves where we're going to break the balance and we're going to do what we call crisscrossing. The moves. The reinforced bottom fist. A lot of people interpret, well, I'm getting extra power in the bottom fist, which is basically true. So what we're doing here, if we're grabbed in here, and if I kick the leg like this, and the way the knee is positioned, if I collapse the knee, it will go right off to the side. So in our form, after we do the technique, kicking our own leg and doing this movement, is kicking their leg, breaking their balance, coming right straight back with a hammer fist blow to the side of the neck. So you can see in the form we go 1, 2. That's the movement I'm interpreting, which is here. 1, and then 2, straight back to the side of the neck. Then you do it the other direction. 1, 2. And the movement's very effective in street combat situation. Going into the next part of the form after this, then we come back into here and go to there, which I've already covered. Here, into here. So you can see just in the Nyaji Chodan form, there are a lot of advanced street self-defense movements. I'll now demonstrate the form at full form speed for you. Nyaji Chodan. And there you have the Nyaji Chodan.